You're listening to the Cyclone on J360 Radio. With your hosts, Dev and Al. Jay has entered the Cyclone.
Hey, J360 Legion, and welcome back to the Cyclone. Alan, Mark, and myself have a lot to cover today. One of these days I gotta get Mark in the intro, huh? You know, I'm gonna have something new coming next week anyway. But outside of all that, let's go on ahead and get started. We have a recap to do, and we have to go ahead and do our championship picks. Gentlemen, let's do this. But first, let's talk divisionals. Somebody didn't win the picks this week, Alan.
He did all right. I did terrible.
Let's see. I think I went 2-2.
Well, you know, the thing about that is, I just said that to get your attention because I know Mark did terrible. So, Mark, what happened, man? You were okay there for a minute? Did we gamble too much, son?
I think I did gamble a little too much. I don't know. I mean, that Saints game was kind of a fluke. I mean, come on. Like, who saw the Vikings getting that touchdown at the end of the game? Really?
Hey, I picked the Saints too. I was 2-2.
I picked the Titans because I was kind of being a jerk.
You were long shooting like me.
No, you picked them despite me.
Yeah. I picked them in spite of Patriots because I think everybody pretty much figured the Patriots were going to win that one.
There's one thing, Mark. Pittsburgh ain't going nowhere. Boy, when Blake Bortles and company said that we coming in here to Heinz Field, we gonna stomp a mud hole in you something fierce, everybody laugh. And then reality set in.
Yep.
You know, that's the thing. I was happy with that pick. I said, you know what? I want Blake Bortles to do something, and he did. Showed you what a difference a new coaching system can make.
You know what? You're right. He looked really good. He was putting some really, really good touch on those passes. As a matter of fact, there was some that the Pittsburgh defense just made really good plays on that he had really nice touch on. I remember there was one long ball. It was right where the receiver needed it, but I don't know if it was the cornerback or the safety just made a really good play on it. There's not much else you can really say about Bortles. That was a nice game.
It was beautiful, you know. You know, the Eagles game was okay. It was okay. The Falcons aren't that tough, you know. But you see, once Nick Foles got it together and he wasn't as flustered and stuff, he was able to pull it too good. But that was just danger close, you know. I was like, yeah, we won, but gotta tighten it up a little bit. No second halving, you know.
You know, you got to give Doug Peterson a lot of credit for that game.
Oh, I do.
Because when you think back to what I had said last week about that game, and I said Doug Peterson's going to gear it towards helping Nick Foles, and they were talking about how he went back and he watched tape from when Foles was playing for Chip Kelly and the season that Foles had 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Apparently, they went back, they were looking at that, and Foles was working on things, and he came out, you could tell he was a little shaky, a little nervous, and he had a few bad plays, but then Peterson changed up the play calls, and you just start seeing Nick Foles come out there, and it seemed like he had confidence, you know? It looked nice. Like, what did he end up going, 20 for 27 or something like that?
Mm-hmm. He became the real Nick Foles like he was with us. You know what I mean?
Well, let's hope that he can keep that up next week.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I'm going to tell you something. When I first looked at this game that's coming up Sunday, I was nervous. I'm like, oh, man, the Vikings look good. The Vikings look real good. But then I started thinking about it a little bit more, and I'm like, you know, I feel like I keep down-selling the Eagles a little bit, like kind of doubting them a little bit more than I should in my mind, because you really stop to think about it. You know, I'm sitting there constantly thinking it's going to be a slaughter. You know, the Vikings are going to come in and slaughter the Eagles. But then I think about it, I'm like, well, you know, the Eagles aren't really that bad.
Not at all.
And they do have a real chance at this.
It's like anything else, you know, you're trying to be as realistic about it, and it doesn't help what everybody else is trying to say, too, you know? But the thing about it is, we could prove to be one hell of a strong team, and we are a strong team because we got home field advantage and everything else. We're ready to play. Those guys are there for a reason, you know what I mean? So, like, as soon as we get that NFC Championship locked in, there's only one area to go. You know what I'm saying? For both teams.
I really hope that they can pull this off because even if they don't win the Super Bowl, I mean...
We made marks this year.
Yeah. Them beating the Falcons the way they did, I don't care that it wasn't a high-scoring game. I don't care that they didn't score more than one touchdown. What impressed me, at the end of the game, that goal line stand, and you think back, the last time they were in playoffs, and when they lost against the Saints, and it ended with the Saints scoring at the end. I think they had like a field goal or something, and the Saints are just taking all this time off the clock, and that's what you see happening with the Falcons. In the back of my head the whole time, I'm just thinking, oh man, Falcons are going to score, and they're going to have any time left to score, and that's going to be it. And then they stop them on the 2-yard line. That was
beautiful. Like, that right there just goes to show that our team isn't a bunch of slouches. I mean, sure, there can be some disorganization, but the thing about it is, that happens with any team, but we are there for a reason. We're going to pull our win. It's just like when I was sitting there, I'm like, I'm going to stick with my boys. I'm going to pull it for my boys. Eagles.
Yeah.
They will always be picked first, even though I got the Vikings as my number 2, and I'll always stand by that because, you know, they're looking for gold themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So it's going to be a big battle. But we got to have faith in our boys that they can pull it off, and the truth is, they can. Now, the thing about the Saints being up in there, however, you know, something happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just going to say, you know, with that game, at the end of that game, like the Saints had sealed it up and they had stolen that game from the Vikings. And then that play that happened, I don't even know. How do you duck? How do you make the play right there? The game was over. And then I know you're worried about interference. That's not interference. He could have tackled him there. I don't know. Maybe the defender got overcautious. But if you replay that, it's almost like he let him win.
Oh, that's strange. That is a strange call. There's going to be some history with this because, you know, Case Keenum and Nick Foles, they used to be on the same team with each other.
Yep.
The Rams.
Do you have any points on with anything this past week? Go ahead and do like a little rundown for yourself if you want to.
My rundown pretty much is, excuse me, the Steelers like too far ahead to the Patriots that they overlooked the Jaguars. That was pretty much my rundown in that game. The Saints and the Vikings. That Saints defender, oh my god. That's like the definition of you're like playing Madden and you hit the hit stick too early and you're like going full motion and like you miss and you hit your other player. It's the best definition I have for that game. And yeah, what a crazy ending to that game. And that's pretty much all I got.
What about the Titans and Patriots game, son? I mean,
I predicted a massacre. I don't even need to recap this game.
Oh, come on, Al. The Titans they tried. It was all on the line, man. I mean, Malarkey's gone. What about the new era? I like how you guys are quiet about that.
Does anybody care about the Titans?
I do.
No, you don't. You're a liar. Stop lying.
No. Let me tell you why I care about the Titans, all right? They were the Houston Oilers years ago.
And nobody cared about them.
Yes, they did.
Oh, stop it.
It was the Moon Show. You better stop it, Alan.
It was the Moon Show?
War and
Moon. There's history and legacy there, dude. Hey, you see, the thing is, when they turned to the Titans, it all just came to a halt after the first couple of years.
What? They had Steve McNair. They were fine.
Like I said, after the first couple of years, things shifted bad.
I just don't think Mariota's a franchise quarterback.
And now they got DeMarco Murray and, well, actually, Marcus Mariota is a good quarterback. He
wasn't this year.
Hey, he was all right.
No, he wasn't.
He was all right.
He really wasn't.
You know what?
He really regressed this year. You have to admit that.
Well, he was wounded last year, remember?
He's injured every year.
No, he's not. He's not Sam Bradford.
I beg to differ.
But other than that, though, I mean, of course they were going up against one of the strongest teams in the league, the New England Patriots.
It wasn't even a game.
Yeah, it was terrible.
At least with the Bills game, there was at least a chance, you know. I don't know what to say, so we have to do some predictions really fast.
Yeah, of course, it's the championships, guys. The NFC Championship with the Minnesota Vikings versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
You go.
Okay, Eagles.
Mark?
All right. Let me get into this first. I don't want to just say my team yet. All right, so I was looking at this game when the Vikings won, and I started feeling, kind of like, all right, this is probably the end of the road for the Eagles. I don't know if Nick Foles is going to be able to overcome the Vikings and, everything that they bring to the table. But then today it kind of dawned on me a little bit. I started thinking about it a little bit more, and I was like, you know what? I'm being too hard on the Eagles. Like, really, they're not a bad team. And Nick Foles is good enough to win a game. And the Vikings are coming into Philly. The Vikings are a dome team coming into harsh conditions in Philly in front of a fan base that will make your life hell. Like, if you heard it on Saturday, those fans are crazy, and that's going to make it tough. Plus, the Eagles' defense is going to make it tough. Plus, Doug Peterson, I'm pretty sure is going to have a strong game plan. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say the Eagles.
I'm picking the Vikings. I just think they're the better team this time. Foles did not show me anything in that playoff game. Like, yeah, he did enough to win. Props, good for him. But, in reality, though, like, is that going to be enough to put away the Vikings? In my opinion, no. So that's why I'm picking the Vikings this game. Sorry, Jay.
Why'd you say that, man?
It's your team.
I mean, it is what it is, son. Anytime my team plays your team, I'm always picking my team. That's the funniest thing in the world. And not only that, though, it'll be funny if they do pull a win. You'll be sitting there apologizing like you did last time.
I'll have to eat a lot of crow.
What do you mean a lot of crow, son? You'll be fine. I'm just going to spam all your shit, that's all.
Well,
that's just how it goes. But either way, like, look, guys. I mean, if anything, it's a tough matchup. You know what I mean? It's something that we're gonna watch. Hell, there's a point where like both of them are gonna be. Like, I mean, it's gonna be amazing.
I just feel Keenum is just better than Foles.
Yeah, and there's history there.
And I just feel like this entire game is pretty much because the defenses are pretty equal. The only thing you guys have for the Vikings is I think you guys have a stronger running attack. But the Vikings have a better running defense.
I don't know about that. Especially considering that the Eagles were the number one running defense for most of the year.
Weren't the Vikings like top 5?
They may have been. But I know the Eagles had the top running defense for a good portion of the year. I don't know if they ended the year with it or not.
I know the Jaguars were number 2, weren't they?
Well, actually, look that up real quick. Oh.
But keep in mind now, when you apologize to me, when it comes right down to it, don't apologize to me. You apologize to Mark too, because within his way, there's an Eagles fan just waiting to come out. I'm sure during that whole game, he was throwing around PBR and cussing like a man of the Navy who just wants to know what's going on.
This dude last week picked against me to spite me. All right, I'm allowed to just apologize to you.
Well, you see, I picked the Titans too, sir.
Okay,
just fight me.
Well, yes.
All right.
So here we go. So when the season ended, Panthers had a number 1 rushing defense. Not sure how that happened. Then the Patriots, then the Vikings, then Titans, then Eagles. Total defense, it went Bills, Patriots, Eagles. Now hold on, this doesn't seem right.
What year was it?
It's this year. It doesn't seem right. Because
the Bills were number 1?
You know what? This must be the playoffs. This must be what they're looking at here.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, that's the postseason. Yeah, hold on.
It happens.
I'm like, yeah, this doesn't seem right. All right, so at the end of the regular season, yes, the Eagles were the number 1 rushing defense, but Vikings were number 2, and then Panthers and so on. Total defense, the Vikings were number 1. So I will give you that. And I actually thought about that, too. When the Vikings won, I was like, this is going to be real tough. But I think there's more factors than just the teams. I think you got to factor in conditions, mindsets. Like
They played in a icy cold Green Bay, Wisconsin, and did just fine.
Okay. Wait, when was this?
When they last played them, let me find out. I know it was a cold game. This was the day before Christmas.
When the Packers were out and they didn't give a crap anymore?
Yes.
No offense, Packers fans out there, but we gonna throw some at you. Salt.
Hey,
Salt.
threw for 17 of 40 for 130 yards. I think he played with some passion.
Salt.
Anyways, but no, I stick with the Vikings. And then the next game, Jay.
Of course, we're going to the AFC now, and we have the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the New England Patriots. I like this matchup. It's fresh, but I am going to go ahead and go with the Jacksonville Jags.
I think a lot of people would say Patriots here. And that's after I picked the Titans kind of being a jerk last week, you would think I would learn my lesson and I would pick Patriots, right? But I think the Jaguars can take the Patriots.
Smart man.
But I didn't say that's my pick yet.
Plot twist.
We got to be real here. Patriots are a scary team, man. They got Brady, Bennett, Harrison, Gronk, Cooks. They got Amendola. I don't think that Edelman's coming back this season, right? He's done for good.
Yeah, he's
done.
Dion Lewis. And I'm not even starting on the defense. I mean,
Kevin Hogan.
Yeah, Kevin Hogan. And then you look at the defense. I think it would be dumb for me to not pick the Patriots here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Patriots.
Okay, what about you, Alan?
This game has crossed my mind for the last couple of days. For real, this was actually, even before we did the show, it was like, I was always wondering who is going to win this game. And here's my thing with the Jaguars. I don't know which Jaguar team is going to show up. Like, are we going to get the Jaguar team that put 45 points on the Steelers, or are we going to get the one that only put 10 on the Bills? Are we going to get like a 2 TD, 0 INT Blake Bortles, or are we going to get a 1 TD, 3 INT quarterback in Blake Bortles? I don't trust it, and this team, the Patriots, who I figure was going to destroy the Steelers anyways. But the Jacksonville's defense is good, and I like it, but the problem again is they gave up 42 points to the Steelers. That's what makes this tough, and as much as I hate to admit it, I think we're seeing the Patriots in the Super Bowl again. So I'm picking the Patriots. I want the Jaguars to win, but I think it's going to be the Patriots.
You cut me deep, son. Both of you did. I'm like Julius Caesar. I'm bleeding out. I'm hurt. Pride hurt.
I would like to see the Jaguars in the Super Bowl, too.
I want to see a Bortles-Keenum Super Bowl. Who wins?
Actually, I'm kidding, guys. I mean, I just wanted to do that for the lull. Those are some good picks. Not bad.
Yeah, I really want the Jaguars to get in because it'd be intriguing. That's their first Super Bowl trip it would ever be, right?
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much broke their curse for playoff contention, too, just like the Bills did.
Well, here's the thing. The last time they went to the championship game, that had to be like the year the Packers won the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Or was it the year the Packers lost the Super Bowl against the Broncos?
No, I'd say the year when they won.
Wait, what?
Brett Favre era?
Yeah, it was Brett Favre era. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Last time they made it to a championship game.
They didn't get there with Leftwich?
No.
Right.
They went to the divisional, I think. I think that's as far as they went.
Yeah.
And same as Garrard. I think Garrard made it to divisional. Yeah. Gabbert led them to the basement. I mean, Blaine Gabbert.
Hey, leave old Blaine alone. At least he was man enough to show up for that San Francisco 49ers meeting that day. Nobody else did, but he did.
Well, he still has a job in the NFL. Isn't he getting a 2-year deal with the Cardinals?
He's a happy man.
He's probably going to get cut, though, with the new head coach coming, because Arians retired.
Yep, and Carson Palmer is gone, too. Got clean house over there. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where everybody ends up. We're going to have familiar faces, but different franchises all around. Much like it goes every year. But we're out of time to talk about that for now. So I want to thank you two for joining me. I want to thank everybody in the J360 Legion for joining all of us as we communicate what's going to happen. We got some interesting games to see. Each and every single team that is in the finals right now, deserve their spot to be there. And whatever the outcome is, we'll be sure to talk about it before Super Bowl hits. But until then, though, take care of yourselves, and we'll be back next week. And on behalf of the Cyclone crew, this is Jay, signing off.